The world almost never heard "To Pimp a Butterfly." We almost never witnessed "All Right" become the anthem of a generation. And believe it or not, Kendrick Lamar, the lyrical savior of a decade, was this close to being rejected by TDE and shut down by Eminem himself. What if we told you that Kendrick's entire career, his rise, his legacy, his global domination was once hanging by a thread? That behind all the polished visuals and poetic rhymes was a secret history of rejection, ruthless competition, and a test so brutal, it nearly made him quit rap forever. Insiders say Eminem didn't just mentor Kendrick. He tested him behind closed doors, put him through a lyrical gauntlet, and Kendrick almost failed. And as if that wasn't enough, Top Dawg nearly walked away from signing him altogether. Why? What did they see or not see in Kendrick back then? This is the story they never wanted out. Leaked studio reports, old unreleased recordings, and shocking interviews are now surfacing. And they change everything you thought you knew about Kendrick's come up. Stay locked in, because this isn't just a music story. This is how the rap game almost lost a legend. And the secrets go way deeper than you think. Before Kendrick Lamar became the voice of the culture, before the Grammys, before Pulitzer Prizes, and before sold-out arenas from Compton to Cologne, he was just a hungry kid from Section 80, desperately knocking on every studio door that would listen. But behind his meteoric rise lies a brutal backstory of being overlooked, doubted, and nearly discarded by the very people who now sing his praises. Let's rewind the clock to the early 2000s, the aftermath of the death row era, when the West Coast rap scene was fractured and fading. While New York was still holding on to its lyrical throne, and the South was exploding with trap energy, Los Angeles was a shadow of its former self. And in the middle of that chaos was a young Kendrick Duckworth, soft-spoken, observant, and exservant, and fiercely focused. He had bars, no doubt. But in an industry obsessed with bravado, flash, and marketability, Kendrick's quiet, cerebral energy was seen as a liability. He didn't look like a star. He didn't sound like one, not yet. Sources say his earliest mixtapes, like Youngest Head Nigga in Charge and Training Day, were passed around like underground secrets. His rhyme schemes were intricate, his voice still maturing. He was compared to Lupe Fiasco, Talib Kweli, and even Nas, but with none of the cosigns or mainstream momentum. In fact, one anonymous TDE rep even told a friend, "He's good, but forgettable." Yup, forgettable. Let that sink in. TDE was building something raw and revolutionary. At the time, Top Dawg, Punch, and the team were scouting the streets for someone to define the next wave. J-Rock was already gaining traction. AB Soul had the philosophical fire. And Schoolboy Q had the gritty street edge. But Kendrick, insiders claim his audition was nearly scrapped. Top Dawg allegedly watched Kendrick freestyle for 20 minutes straight, eyes closed, not breaking a sweat, but walked out the room silently. No applause, no feedback. Just a cold, unreadable exit. At one point, Punch reportedly told someone close to the label, "He's good with words, but I don't know if he'll sell." Worse, a producer who worked on early TDE sessions leaked that Kendrick's initial beats kept getting rejected. His flow was too dense, his lyrics too layered, and execs worried he couldn't make a radio hit. It was only after a leaked verse from a J-Rock track went viral on hip-hop blogs that the tides started to shift. But even then, Kendrick's future was uncertain. Meanwhile, the Eminem situation was simmering in the background. According to a now-deleted forum post from a veteran Aftermath engineer, Kendrick had been on Dr. Dre's radar during the detox sessions. But Dre wasn't convinced. He wanted Eminem to evaluate him directly. It wasn't about clout, it was about survival. And what came next would shake Kendrick to his core. The story goes that Kendrick was flown to a private studio session with but no entourage, no crew, no hype, just him and a booth. And M, being M, wasn't there to shake hands or give flowers. He reportedly handed Kendrick a beat and said, "You got 30 minutes, prove it." Sources say Kendrick froze. Not because he didn't have bars, but because this was Eminem, the rap god himself. And Kendrick knew, one slip-up, 1 week verse, and he'd be blacklisted before he even began. The pressure was astronomical. Back at TDE, people were whispering. Was Kendrick really the future? Could he carry the label into the mainstream? Was his style too intellectual for the streets? Even Kendrick himself admitted in a rare early interview that he considered quitting more than once. He'd sit in his car after studio sessions, staring at the dashboard, asking himself, "Am I built for this? Will they ever get me?" And just when it looked like he might fade into the background, the game threw him a lifeline. It came from an unexpected cosign, not from Eminem, but from someone who had already seen greatness in raw form, Dr. Dre. But even that cosign came with consequences Kendrick never saw coming. The cosign from Dr. Dre should have been a dream come true, the golden stamp every rapper in the world fantasized about. But for Kendrick Lamar, it was a blessing laced with pressure, paranoia, and hidden enemies lurking behind studio walls. Word spread fast in industry circles. The kid from Compton. Dre just tapped him. But that stamp of approval triggered something ugly. A wave of resistance from people inside and outside TDE who suddenly felt threatened. Whispers turned to side eyes. Features dried up. Kendrick started getting uninvited from sessions he was promised. And what about Eminem? The test session in Detroit still haunted him, according to an alleged engineer leak. Now wiped from Reddit, but screenshotted by fans, Eminem was left unimpressed with Kendrick's performance. M reportedly told Dre he's got the brain, but he ain't hungry enough yet. That line circulated like wildfire in backroom studios and A&R offices across LA. Fans don't know this, but Kendrick allegedly left Detroit shattered. One of his early collaborators, who asked to remain anonymous, claimed Kendrick said, "If M don't feel me, maybe nobody will." He disappeared for days, skipping out on studio time and even ignoring Top Dog's calls. But here's where the twist hits. Kendrick didn't back down. He locked in. He came back with something that would shake TDE to its foundation. He dropped a verse, not for a track, not for radio, but as a direct response to Eminem. It was never released, but insiders say it circulated privately within TDE and Aftermath. A ferocious 64-bar demolition packed with double entendres, religious references, and wordplay sharp enough to draw blood, according to a ghostwriter who claimed to hear the demo. The final bars hit like this: "I study your syllables, shredded. My idols, now I baptize the booth like it's holding my rivals, you question my fire. Now I'm burning your Bible." Whoa. That verse reportedly stunned Dre. It was personal, bold, and borderline disrespectful. But above all, it was undeniable. Back at TDE, the environment was getting colder. Some execs were still pushing for Schoolboy Q to be the frontman of the label. He had charisma, street appeal, and was easier to market. J-Rock already had street legend status in Watts. AB Soul was the deep thinker. So where did Kendrick fit? They were building a dynasty, but some said Kendrick didn't belong in the starting lineup. Then came the show that changed everything. Leimert Park, a low-lit open mic in the heart of South Central, where Kendrick showed up unannounced. Crowd was modest. No cameras, no security, just raw energy and spoken word. Midway through the night, he stepped up and said nothing for 10 seconds, just stared at the mic. The crowd murmured. Then, boom, he delivered a spoken word freestyle that left the room in stunned silence. People were crying. Some were filming, and one clip made it to Twitter. That one clip. It hit over 1 million views in 48 hours. Hashtags exploded. Hashtag Who is this kid? Hashtag Compton Truth. Hashtag Kendrick Bars God. But what people didn't see was what happened after the performance. A mysterious figure walked up to Kendrick and whispered, "Dre saw your verse, and M heard it too." That same night, Dre called Top Dog. Rumor has it, the streets went silent, then roared. But while the fans were falling in love, someone else was plotting in silence. A rival West Coast rapper, once friendly with TDE, was furious that Kendrick was getting crowned before even dropping an album. He began leaking private studio convos, unreleased tracks, and cryptic tweets. One tweet simply read, "Funny how y'all hype someone who didn't pass the M test. But okay." People started asking questions. Who was behind the sabotage? Was Kendrick being set up to fail from the inside? And with his debut project in the works, was the label truly behind him? Or were they waiting, hoping he'd slip? Because the truth was, Kendrick was now a threat to everyone. Just when Kendrick thought he'd earned his seat at the table, the rug was yanked from underneath him. And this time, it wasn't just a rumor, a leak, or a misquote. It was betrayal from inside his own circle. While fans were still obsessing over The Heart, Part 1, TDE was preparing for Kendrick's official debut under the spotlight. But a ghost from the past returned to burn everything down. A former TDE intern, who went by the alias at Westside Witness on X, formerly Twitter, suddenly reactivated their account after 5 years of silence. And what they posted next sent the internet into a frenzy. Y'all praising Kendrick now. But I watched Top Dog almost shelve him twice. They didn't believe in him. They were about to drop him in 2009. Don't let them fool you. Screenshots. Followed studio notes. Old Slack convos. Audio snippets of internal meetings where execs debated whether Kendrick had any commercial viability. One file, named riskreport_KDOT.mp3, featured a voice that fans swear belongs to Punch himself, saying, "I'm not sure he's a star. He's an alien lyrically, but he's not mainstream ready. If we're building an empire, we need more." Then bars. Boom, it was all out now. Blogs went wild. TDE planned to drop Kendrick. Exposed, Kendrick was called a weak investment by execs. Punch doubted Kendrick's star power. Kendrick, known for being private and controlled in his image, was suddenly the center of an internal scandal. And he was livid. But instead of issuing a statement, Kendrick did something else. He went silent. For 5 days, no tweets, no appearances, no studio updates, just radio silence, and fans started panicking. But behind closed doors, Kendrick was preparing his next move. And this time, it wasn't just bars, it was personal. He reached out to one person only. Eminem. Sources say Kendrick sent M a private track, unannounced and unreleased, titled Tested. One source, a close contact of an Aftermath engineer, claims M listened and then called Kendrick directly. With only 4 words, "Now you're ready, King. Wait, WHAT." Apparently, Eminem had never actually rejected Kendrick. He had tested him deliberately, knowing full well that only the strongest would rise from the fire. According to insiders, that original Detroit session was never about seeing Kendrick succeed. It was about seeing how he'd react to failure. And now, years later, Kendrick had passed. But while Kendrick was having a full circle moment with one rap legend, chaos was boiling on the home front. A group DM was leaked allegedly between Top Dog, Punch, and a third unnamed exec. The messages showed TDE strategizing about balancing KDOT's weirdness with a feature-heavy rollout to keep audiences engaged. One message, dated during Section .80 ERA, read, "He's not flashy. No club bangers. We need Drake or Cole on the tape, or else this flops." that was it. The final straw. Fans were split. Some started calling out TDE, others defended them. They still gave him the platform. But Kendrick, he didn't stay quiet anymore. In a surprise Instagram Live, his first in nearly a year, Kendrick stared straight into the camera. Eyes tired but fierce. I ain't never begged for validation. Not from Eminem, not from this label. Cave. Y'all truth when y'all wanted hits. And I stayed when I could have walked. He ended the live with just 2 words. Ask them why. Boom. He flipped the script immediately. Punch posted a cryptic tweet. If you knew the full story, you'd understand. But bet, within minutes. Fans dug up old interviews where Kendrick hinted at creative fences and struggles with identity during his early days. Even old label mates like Betrayal started dropping vague subtweets. Truth always sounds bitter to those who ignored it. The entire TDE image of being one big family began to crack. But that's not even the wildest part. 2 days after Kendrick's IG Live, DJ Head, a West Coast radio personality, claimed on his podcast that he saw a document in 2010 that listed TDE's official artist drop list, and guess what name was on it? Kendrick Lamar Duckworth, he claimed. Kendrick was in talks with Dreamville around the time TDE was doubting him, and that J. Cole personally told Kendrick not to jump ship. Allegedly, Cole said, "They'll regret it. Let them. Just keep building." So wait, did Cole save Kendrick from leaving the West Coast altogether? Fans went crazy. Twitter threads lit up with hashtag. They almost dropped KDOT, hashtag Kendrick deserved better. Hashtag Eminem knew all along. Instagram was flooded with edits of Kendrick's face morphing through each era. But the captions were ruthless. Imagine rejecting the greatest rapper alive. But just as people thought it couldn't get messier, an unreleased track titled Table Talk mysteriously leaked to SoundCloud. No artist tagged, no album info, but the voice. 100% Kendrick. And the opening line. They fed me crumbs till I built a bakery. Now they line up like disciples for the recipe. He was speaking directly to the ones who doubted him. But fans noticed something chilling in the outro. A sampled voicemail was layered under the beat. It was fuzzy, distorted, but with audio cleaned up. It sounded eerily like Top Dog's voice saying, "We can't risk the whole brand on just one poet." The message was clear. They underestimated a poet, created a prophet. But wait, who leaked the voicemail? Who had access to that file? Is someone still working against Kendrick from the inside? Because just as Kendrick found clarity, a new storm was forming. And this time, it wasn't TDE or Eminem. It was someone from Kendrick's own crew who was about to expose it all. When the Table Talk leak hit SoundCloud, it didn't just shake fans, it rocked the entire industry to its core. The sampled voicemail, the venom-laced lyrics, it was a declaration of war, wrapped in poetic fury. And within minutes, the track was everywhere, reposted, remixed, analyzed frame by frame like a crime scene. But the question on everyone's lips, who leaked that voicemail? And more importantly, why now? The reactions were immediate and chaotic. Instagram Live exploded. Schoolboy Q went live with a cryptic statement. "Y'all think you know the story, but y'all don't. Know Kendrick like we do." J-Rock posted a photo of a TDE studio room with the lights off. Caption, "Darkness been here." Betrayal tweeted, he warned them in 2009. Meanwhile, Twitter, or rather X, was on fire at RapTruthZ, that voicemail leak. Whoever did it just exposed years of industry lies. Kendrick been carrying TDE on his back. Don't let the polished image fool you. At Bars Bible, y'all realize Eminem gave Kendrick the cold shoulder on purpose, just to spark the beast. That's GOAT energy. At Culture Crisis, was Kendrick actually sabotaged from the beginning? This ain't just music. This is corporate warfare in the rap game. And then came the celeb reactions. And oh boy, did that open the floodgates. Diddy on The Breakfast Club? When I heard that voicemail. Now it was official, the rap gods were watching. But not everyone was cheering. In fact, TDE's silence was deafening. No denial, no confirmation, just ... nothing. Until a leaked press release draft hit Reddit's Are Hippopeds, allegedly. Written by TDE's PR team, the document had a timestamp, bullet points, and a headline that read, "Internal audio leak under investigation, Kendrick remains a valued part of TDE's legacy." But fans weren't buying it. They flooded the comments, legacy, not present. They trying to ice him out softly. Kendrick already packed his bags. Y'all just stalling. Meanwhile, journalists were circling like vultures. Complex, Rolling Stone, XXL, everyone wanted the exclusive. But Kendrick wasn't talking. That didn't stop the headlines. Complex was Kendrick almost shelved by his own label. XXL, the Eminem test and the TDE trap. Inside Kendrick's near exit from hip-hop BuzzFeed. Kendrick's pain. Kendrick's power. The leaks that shattered TDE's perfect image. But while media played detective, fans went full conspiracy mode. Reddit threads started digging into old YouTube interviews. IG Lives from 2008 and even scanned photos of notebooks Kendrick once shared in a GQ article. One comment stood out. He told us in Good Kid, MAAD City. "Remember, but what am I supposed to do when the topic is red or blue?" He was always caught between worlds, even labels. Even fans overseas were chiming in. Kendrick est un prophet, et. Less labels sans es Judas. El sobrevivo, a t dea. Endostria, e8, a Eminem. Respeto eterno. Kendrick ni asli, game decadia. Abcoy rapper safe nahi high. The movement was global now. But the one post that broke the internet came from none other than Beyoncé. She posted a black and white photo of Kendrick on her story. No words, no music. Just him standing in a shadowed corner, hands in his hoodie, looking dead at the camera. Caption, "Let the poet speak." Twitter melted. Fans were screaming. Bey standing with Kendrick. The Hive plus Kendrick fans equals complete timeline. Takeover, but all the while, Kendrick kept quiet, observing, waiting, writing, plotting, and then it came. A mysterious teaser on his Instagram, a red background, a typewriter sound, and then one line appeared. "Forgiveness is for the weak. I choose the pen." The caption. 8/15, the truth you ran from. Oh, it's not over, not even close. Because that date, it's less than 2 weeks away. And sources are now saying, there's a full documentary coming. August 15th. That's the date. Kendrick Lamar promised to reveal the truth they ran from. But the truth? It may have already started leaking. And it's uglier than anyone expected just 3 days before. The date, a mysterious video appeared on Vimeo under the unverified account at Blackout Witness. The title, Before GKMC, The Files They Hid, and what followed, was nothing short of explosive. The 10-minute reel featured secret studio footage. Kendrick sitting alone, headphones on, rapping ferociously into a mic while engineers whisper in the background. You can hear someone say, "He's too conscious. It won't move units. Pass him the beat with the trap drums. Wait, WHAT." That line alone confirmed what fans had feared. Kendrick was pressured to water down his message. And it wasn't just business, it was calculated. Sabotage. But that's not even the worst part. The final seconds of the clip showed a screen-captured folder titled K.Alt projects_2009_never cleared. Double quotes in it. A list of song titles the public had never seen before. Reject Me First Compton Judas Revolt Letter to M Escape Tape FT. When I almost quit, one song had a file name that shook everyone. Departure_letter.wav. And yes, it's exactly what it sounds like. A goodbye letter Kendrick allegedly recorded to TDE in 2010. A former assistant editor at Hip Hop DX confirmed in a now-deleted tweet that he heard that audio once at a private label showcase. His tweet before it vanished, he was done. That letter, men, it wasn't a threat. It was closure. But they knew if it dropped, they'd lose him forever. Boom. This raises one terrifying question. Did TDE bury Kendrick's exit tape to keep control of his career? And more importantly, was Kendrick about to leave rap entirely back then? But here's the final twist nobody saw coming. Just hours after the video leaked, TDE's official site went offline, completely wiped. No artist pages, no press releases. Just one chilling message. Under reconstruction. Social media erupted. With theories, Kendrick hacked him. This is his final strike before the dock. TDE scrambling to cover years of deception. But the nail in the coffin.